You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back to our weekend house calls. Great to have you with me here this weekend. We are going to be going over all of our community questions for the past couple months. Looks like we are looking at right around the end of September for the questions coming in today. I'll be reading off the first name of everyone who submitted their question and then going through each question one by one in the order that they came in on all things wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, certifications, and beyond. So excited to get into the show. Really looking forward to seeing what the questions are today. And just really happy that we're on this journey here together as we move into the new year, trying to get your questions answered. But it's my belief that right now, with all the information we have out there, and even if you look at the Cabral Concept, if you look at 1,058 shows today is show number 1058, that you'll be able, in my opinion, to find the information that you need to get yourself started. And that's really what it's all about. You will never have every answer that you need directly in front of you at your disposal until you start moving down on your journey. And that's it. Because as you move forward, you won't know what's around that bend, right? Until you get to that bend in the road. So what I want you to do is I simply want you to move forward. And a lot of the questions that you'll see today is wondering, is this the right thing to do? Should I be doing this? Well, the truth is that we don't always know until we get started. So unless we're lab testing, we're not going to have the exact answer that you need. And even when we do lab test, although that it makes it much easier, right, for your health coach and for me to give recommendations based on your bio-individuality, we still need to go forward. We still need to put in the work, and we need to see what presents us. So, we might have a wellness client. We give them a plan, and then we don't hear from them for 3 months, and they say, this got better, but I still have this. Well, if they had been in touch with us and they had done their follow-ups, then we would have been able to make the adjustments after the 4-week mark or the 5-week mark. But you can't expect your personal trainer, your health coach, your doctor, or anyone else to give you 100% of the program the very first day you get it, even if you have the labs. And the reason is that you are an individual and you're going to react to different foods, you're going to react to different food combinations, and those are all things that you just need to work through. So again, when you look at your body is a living, breathing organism and interacts with your environment. So my goal for you, just in going forward into this new year, and as you're listening to questions today, is to understand that you're going to get the best plan for you from your personal trainer, again, from your health coach, your integrative health practitioner, from your doctor, whoever it may be. But there's going to be some adjustments that need to be made. And that's just the way that life is. Anybody that's achieved anything great in their life, transforming their body, their mind, their health, their career, their relationships, it took work and it took adjustments. No one nailed it the very first time. So please do keep that in mind. I just see way too many people from my colleagues and that I see online with people trying these, whatever it might be, and like, it didn't work for me. Well, it very well may have worked for you if you did a couple minor tweaks, but you gave up at the first sign of an obstacle or the first sign that it wasn't working. And I want you to get the results that you deserve. That's the truth. And it never matters whether it's through me, the labs that we offer, the Dr. Cabral Detox, any of those things. It's with anyone, anywhere in the world. That to me is up to you. And I just want to be able to point you in that right direction. But remember, you're never going to get the results that you want if you're not willing to look at the obstacles that you encounter as simply a challenge, a little bump in the road, and something where you're just going to have to make adjustments. And that's okay. That really is. I talked about it last Thursday, choosing the right workout for you this year. This is episode 1056. And on that show, I spoke about how to choose the right program for you. And then when it stops working, which it will inevitably do, all programs, even the best ones in the world, stop working. That's why we say, a little joke within the industry is the best program you're doing, the best program that you should be doing is the one that you're currently not right now, right? Because your body's adapting each and every week to those exercises, and that's okay. Once you max out, then we move on to the next program. Well, the same is done whether you're doing the candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, you're making adjustments, you're introducing new foods, you're seeing, does that food work for you? Does it cause bloating? Does it not? If you're willing to do that level, it's not very difficult, but if you're willing to do that, you will figure it out, hands down. So just keep that in mind as we're going through today's podcast. A little bit of a rant. Sometimes I enjoy doing that, especially after a long week in the office. That to me is a nice little outlet for myself as well. All right, so let's get right into the questions. Today's first one is from Suzan. Suzan's writing in, Dear Dr. Cabral and team, I'm a nutritionist living in Abu Dhabi, and I'm super interested in your new certification training program. Please sign me up. I'd also love to book a detox plus appointment with you, so please guide me on how to do that. So grateful for all you do in health, Suzan. All right, Suzan, happy to answer this question. Remember, much easier to get same-day questions rather than me waiting 12 weeks to answer your question, just because that's how long we have in the queue right now, is to simply go to cabralsupportgroup.com. cabralsupportgroup.com, just click to join the group. We'll let you in, and here's what we do. We answer your questions within literally 24 to 48 hours, Monday through Friday. So check that out. Our amazing health coaches are right there. But to answer your question, because of course I'm happy to do that on our weekend shows, the certification is called the Integrative Health Practitioner, and the website is integrativehealthpractitioner.org. And you can go right there, and you'll be able to see our next opening. Our next opening is January 1st. It is going to be epic, without a doubt. This is going to be our newest group for the new year. We have so many amazing things happening this new year with the Integrative Health Practitioner certification that we would love to have you. In terms of the detox, you can simply go to equilibriumnutrition.com and type in detox in the search bar, and you will find our 7, 14, or 21-day detox. Booking an appointment, you're always welcome to do that, and you can just, again, ask questions wherever you'd like, or simply email support@stevencabral.com. All right, Rachel's up next. Rachel's asking, Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do. I'm obsessed with your work and teachings. What are your guidelines for what foods and what time you should eat before and after a workout? My trainer told me carbs 1 hour before and protein within 30 minutes after. Is that right? Sometimes I feel better working on an empty stomach, but I've heard that I'll get better workout if I eat before, and if that means eating at 5:30 a.m., and sometimes I'm not hungry for an hour after working out, do I need to eat sooner than that? What is more, the additional food consumption before and directly after working out increases my total caloric intake for the day, and I'm not trying to get larger. Your advice is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Rachel, great question. I've answered this before in a previous Cabral concept, so I do hope that you're going back to the previous shows. I want to let you know that whether you eat an hour before or not is all based on your goals. So if your goal is to lift more weight, to have more energy during that workout, to be able to put on muscle, eating carbs an hour before certainly gives your body more glucose in order to be able to fuel your body for that anaerobic work. So that would be your resistance training or your intervals. So that's correct. And then, but if not, if your goal is to lose weight, we typically recommend working out on an empty stomach. And that will allow you to have a more level blood sugar. Most likely you haven't eaten either overnight or for a couple hours before. But again, I've gone back, I've done whole episodes, 25-minute shows on this. And let me give you a couple other things. You can eat before, but you can just have some fruit, and that'll be very easy to digest, and that will be in your system, and that will give you more energy for your workout. If you choose to do that, again, it's completely up to you. Some people don't feel well if they eat before a workout, and some don't feel well if they don't eat. So it's kind of based on personal preference, but also goals. If I'm training an athlete, and their job is performance and best workout they could have, and either maintain the same size or put on a little bit of muscle, well, then we're eating about an hour before. We've got a peri-workout shake that we're having, and then also post-workout as well. You don't have to eat for an hour after your workout. That's more old school based information, and it's not that it's bad, but your body is still revved up. If you're going to have something, a bigger protein is typically not the best thing to do. You might want a smoothie after your workout, which is easier to digest. So again, I could go back and forth with so many contradictions of eat right away after your workout if you're trying to put on size and you need more of the amino acids, and what to have first, because you can basically have carbs first. That'll raise your blood sugar. And then when you put in your protein, then that will help absorb more of the amino acids. Like it can get so in depth, but it really is all based on your goals. If you're doing well, then I would listen also to your body. And if you don't need to lose weight or gain weight, you can experiment. You can try 3 weeks of having a little bit of carbs, some fruit before your workout, see how you do. And then an hour after your workout, you could do a meal as well. So nothing wrong with doing a little bit of self-experimentation, kind of like I talked about in the beginning of the show. Feel free to write back. I'm happy to get more in depth if you'd like. And my recommendation is to go back to the previous Cabral concepts because you will see this answered in depth. Especially, I even told you whether it should be a 1, 2, 3, or 4 carb to protein ratio after your workout, depending on your goals. All right, D's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. We recently moved to Nebraska, and there are corn and soybean fields as far as the eye can see. I'm concerned with how being in a highly sprayed area will affect our health. Do you have any suggestions on things we can do to combat the increased exposure to pesticide in the air? Thank you so much, D. Okay, D, great question. So, without a doubt, being around the pesticide spray is terrible. So here's what I recommend. If it's a spray day and you see them spraying, I can't recommend enough, not letting you or the kids play outside, that you do stay inside, the windows closed, ideally. And then for just general overall use, I would absolutely recommend every 6 to 12 weeks, we do the 12 weeks, a detox. That will allow you to continue to remove these harmful pesticides right out of your body. A lot of vegetables on a daily basis, namely cruciferous-based vegetables. That's your broccoli and your cauliflower and your Brussels sprouts. You can get some kale in there. And that will allow you to ramp up liver detoxification, right? And so on a daily basis, a smoothie, I would use the daily nutritional support powder. I would use the daily fruit and vegetable blend. Basically, the daily protocol, the Dr. Cabral daily protocol. And again, all of these things are available at equilibriumnutrition.com. You can check them out there. That's what we do in our practice. And then if you wanted to, you could run a toxicity test. It's a urine test that will show you if your levels of pesticides are quite high or not. I live in the city, so I definitely know what you're talking about. I do an every 12-week detox myself. I do the same one as basically everyone in our community. I do the Dr. Cabral detox. I did a 21-day detox. I do it to start, and that is what I recommend everybody start at. And then every 12 weeks now, I do a 7-day. So I started that about 7 years ago. And again, I live in the city, so I'm exposed to a lot of things myself. And I do my toxicity test once a year now. I've done it twice. And just letting you know that all my levels look great living in the city, except for one, which is brake dust. I'm constantly exposed to that with all the cars in Boston and with the trains as well. And the train is even stronger, right? So I look at all that, and what I do is I just do my best, right? Because we live in a pretty polluted world. So if I can have all of my markers, good. And now the brake dust isn't super high, but it's like 33rd percentile. It's high that I don't want to see it that high at all. So what I ran is it's just called a toxicity test. It's very simple, very straightforward. And my levels have greatly improved over the last 7 years to where they're basically perfect, except for that one, which is brake dust. So that's why, but I continue to do my 12-week detoxes. So hopefully that helps. Great questions so far. Leah is up next. I put my email for the Integrative Health Practitioner Charter Member launch. I realized that it will, at this moment, launch in 20 hours. And in about 10 hours, I'll be taking a Jewish holiday, which won't allow us any electronics till Tuesday. I'm not sure what qualifies as someone to be accepted. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Cabral and what he believes in. So my question is, how can I be proactive about trying to better my chances of being one of the 100 students accepted? Thank you so much, Leah. Leah, thank you for the question. I do want everyone to realize that when they go to stevencabral.com/ask Cabral, it says that your question will not be answered for about 12 weeks. So, that's why I don't mind answering these questions at all. I'm happy to do that. This is my job, and I love it. But I feel bad because then people think that we're not getting back to them. But remember, there's proper channels. We get over 1,000 contacts per day. I mean, think about how many that is. People direct messaging us, people putting in through Ask Cabral, people emailing at Cabral Support Group. And I hire a full-time team to be able to answer all these questions, but it has to go through the proper channel. So that's the only thing. And I feel bad that maybe you did try to get in and you weren't able to, because we close the doors after we sell out those 100, and we sell them out very, very quickly, typically within about 48 hours. So, Leah, I do hope that you got in. And for everyone else, same day questions answered at cabralsupportgroup.com, or you can always email any of the proper email channels, which would be support@integrativehealthpractitioner.org or support@stevencabral.com. Or if you have an order question about your lab or supplement, you can just email support@equilibriumnutrition.com. So it's just support at whatever website, company you're trying to get a hold of. That's all. So Leah, I hope that we were able to help you out. If you're listening to this and you weren't able to get in, I want to make that up to you. I want to be able to help you out. So just email support@integrativehealthpractitioner.org and we'll make sure that you get taken care of. All right. Thank you, Leah. Kathy's up next. I saw you on Lloyd Burrell's EMF Summit. Your books looks to be written for the layperson and will be extremely informative to me as a novice to this issue. I'd like to start with an EMF meter. On the summit, you avoided providing a brand name. Can you recommend a brand where you buy a meter as I start my adventure in detecting and eliminating EMFs in my home? Thank you. Kathy, thank you for the question. No, I didn't avoid it at all. It might have been edited out. That's possible. Just remember that I don't run the summits at all, so maybe they were promoting a different type of meter because they were sponsored by a company. I'm not actually sure. But I recommend the Tri-Field meter or the Merc. The Merc's kind of a beginner-based one, and the Tri-Field is absolutely the best. All you have to do is go to stevencabral.com/podcasts. And when you go there, here's an easy thing to do. Go to I'm going to do it right now just to make sure it's there. stevencabral.com/podcasts. And then you will just going to scroll just a little bit down the page. And then it's a box that says search site. We're going to type in EMF. And I'm actually going to, we'll just type in EMF. We could even type in EMF meter. But we'll see that on episode 1021, I give my healthy holiday shopping guide. It would be on that. And then let's see, there's another one on episode 993. And then the best EMF meters on episode 917. So stevencabral.com/917. I give all the brands right there. So feel free to check that out right there. stevencabral.com/podcast. Just type in EMF and you will find it. All right. Who's up next? Lindsay's up next. Lindsay's saying, hope all is well. Just watched a very interesting video featuring Dr. Cabral and had a follow-up question. Hopefully someone could help. The video link is, and she just writes out the YouTube video. In the link, he talks about ectomorph and endomorph body types and testing your blood sugar in the morning after you wake up, after you eat, etc. Does he have any articles on this topic? I want to test my blood sugar in the morning. When I wake up, I believe I have very low blood sugar, but I wouldn't even know what is considered low or a healthy range after a meal. I would truly appreciate insight on this topic. My email is, and I'm going to take out your email, Lindsay, so that not everyone can see your email. I'm getting overwhelming about it, questions and comments, but I hope to hear back from you soon. Okay, so Lindsay, just keep in mind, all the questions are answered right here on Cabral, on the Ask Cabral page. We are not able to email people back unless they email us directly, or they, the best thing is just at cabralsupportgroup.com. So really easy though, Lindsay. All we want you to do is this. Go to stevencabral.com/podcasts and type in glucometer. GLUCOMETER. That's glucometer. So again, same page, which is stevencabral.com/podcast. That's all my previous podcasts. And you're going to go in and you're going to type in GLUCOMETER. And you'll find podcasts where I talk about how to look at your blood sugar after meals, how to look at it first thing in the morning, and whether you have high or low blood sugar, or whether carbohydrates even affect you or not. So really straightforward way of doing it. All right. Christian is up next, and this is a longer question, so I'm going to give you the gist of it, and then everyone can read the whole question at stevencabral.com/1058. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've been listening daily for months now to your podcast and appreciate them very much. I've also recommended your podcast and teaching to friends and family. I have so much gratitude for you and your team. Thank you. Thank you, Christian. I finally ordered the 3 tests you recommended, and my question's about distension and bloating after a meal. I'm doing an organic acids test, food test, and stool test. I'm crossing my fingers. The 60-minute consult will be with you. Possibly related, I may be another issue entirely is estrogen dominance, because I listened to your podcast about losing the last 5 pounds. I feel like you were talking directly to me. No, I know from having my functional physician here in Miami run tests that I'm estrogen dominance. In other words, my progesterone is low. She put me on progesterone hormone through the first cycling 14 through my period. My cycle is now more regular, but I'm still seeing inflammation, my hips and midsection. I have a feeling you're going to suggest the thyroid adrenal lab test. However, my Will the results be accurate given the 2 medications that I'm taking? This is all crazy to me because I'm the healthiest person I know. Diet is excellent. FYI, I'm 44 years old, about 125 pounds, 5'3", but my normal happy weight is closer to 118. Whatever I do, I cannot get back to normal, happy, less inflamed body. Thank you for your suggestions. P.S. I'm a Boston native, grew up in Brookline. Please open a practice here in Miami. All right, Christian, thank you for this question. Let's take it all one by one. Okay, so you ordered the organic acids test, food sensitivity, and stool test. That is great. That's absolutely what I recommend. The consultations are not with me. So they're with my health coaches, and that's because I read hundreds of labs per week, but I can't do hundreds of consultations. So what I do is I read all the labs, and I make all the recommendations. And then you still get the same recommendations that I would give because I am giving them, right? I read every single lab that's ordered through equilibriumnutrition.com, every single one. And then my amazing team of health coaches, they already put together a protocol for you. And then I check it over and I say, yes, yes, no, yes, add this. So I make sure that it's exactly what I would recommend as well. And then they take you through that call because it's simply not possible. I can't do this at scale if I were to do every consultation. But I can read every lab test because I couldn't even tell you how many lab tests, tens of thousands of lab tests, way more than that. I mean, I don't even know how many, but many, many tens of thousands. So I can read lab tests very, very quickly. I'm not sure that anybody reads more lab tests than me. It's one of my favorite things to do. So in terms of the thyroid adrenal hormone test, you can absolutely still take it. And you would take it still around day 19 to 21 of your cycle. And you would just see where you're at with the medication that you're on. And that would tell you, we tell that to people all the time. Even with thyroid medication, we just say, okay, well, how's your thyroid medication working? Are you within range with that thyroid medication? Because if you're not, well, then it's not strong enough or it's too strong or whatever it might be. So we're not against that, but keep in mind a functional medicine doctor who's an MD is very different than a naturopathic doctor. It's just very different. They both practice functional medicine, but this is not a slight on MDs that do functional medicine. But one of the first things they do reach for in terms of hormonal balance is hormones, right? Because it makes sense. Like, okay, someone's low on progesterone. Let's give the person progesterone. It makes sense, right? But when we look at it from a naturopathic perspective or an integrative health perspective, we always ask, well, why would the person have low progesterone? So in naturopathy, there's always the question of why. That's the biggest difference, right? So we don't just give what's missing. Yes, I replace deficiencies, that's correct, and I take out toxicities, that's my job. But my goal is why. So if someone has low progesterone, again, just tune back to my previous shows, you'll hear this as well. Oftentimes, it is a dominance of cortisol or norepinephrine or some part of the fight or flight norepinephrine HPA axis dysfunction. So basically, as your body ramps up to more of what's called the sympathetic nervous system dominance, when you're more stressed, and even it could be stress from gut. That's why I'm glad that you tested your gut-based function, or too hard of workouts, or stress at school, or you're 44. I don't know if you have children or not, but if you do, there's always the stress of kids, right? So it's all of those things. And so we just look at those numbers as well. That's why I never look at progesterone and estrogen without looking at DHEA, testosterone, and cortisol through 4 times throughout the day, right? So that's what I look at. And that's how we're able to help people get results, because we don't look at anything in isolation. Your cortisol means nothing to me in terms of isolation. Someone's blood sugar means nothing to me in isolation without knowing when did they last eat. These are important questions to ask. What was that last meal? So those are the questions that I always want you to ask. And just if you're a health practitioner out there listening to this, your job is not just to give supplements or not just to give diet advice, is to always ask why. Why did this person become imbalanced in the first place? Because if you can answer that and you can begin to help with the lifestyle aspect as well, not only will you help the person get well through the diet and the exercise, the nutritional supplements, etc., but that person will never become that sick again. That's the goal. So again, I got well multiple times before the age of 27, from 17 to 27, but I never answered the question of why I got sick in the first place. And that's why I kept relapsing. So if I could never answer the question why, I would never get fully well. And that's why I relapsed multiple times over a 10-year period of time, right? So what happened was, when I met my mentor at 27 years old, she said, here's how you got here, and here's how you're going to finally get well, and here's how you won't go back again. So she gave me that insight, and that was what was life-changing. That is why I traveled all over the world, because I realized that this type of education is not taught in the United States, no matter where you are. Literally. Now, you can get it because you can just read the books, right? You can read books on bioregulatory medicine, orthomolecular medicine, functional medicine, lab testing. Not just functional medicine, not replacing things, but the lab testing, right? So that's what we try to teach in the Integrative Health Practitioner course for the regular person who doesn't want to be a health coach. And then for those people that want to be a health coach, of course, we have the certification track. So hopefully that's helpful. These were great questions today. I'm looking forward to answering even more tomorrow on episode 1059. But for all of today's questions, for all of the show notes, simply go to stevencabral.com/1058. Thanks, everyone. Stay tuned for tomorrow's show. Hope you're having a great weekend. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.